Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because right now Bitcoin is breaking down below 80,000 US dollars in the Bitcoin price as we are reaching this critical line of high time frame support on the 1 week time frame. Now this level of support is sitting at about 79,000 in the Bitcoin price. So right now this is a very important level to hold on this weekly time frame. We are getting the candle close in about 2.5 hours, but as I will show you in this analysis video a little bit later on, it is quite unlikely that we are just going to continue to keep dumping here in the immediate short term, but I will get to that in just a second. Guys, if we get a weekly candle close below this ascending trend line, it is starting to look quite bearish for Bitcoin. For example, if we take this bull market support band here, we already broke down below and then got a rejection from this bull market support band. Now, so far, we have spent a bit over a month below the bull market support band. And usually when we are below the bull market support band, it can take a couple of months before we actually break back above. So therefore, we should be open to the possibility of more downside here. Moving on to the 1 day time frame, then we are still below this ascending trend line. Nothing really has changed there. This is basically just another rejection that we are seeing from the descending trend line and also from this 0.236 Fibonacci level sitting at 84.6K. If we now start making lows below these previous lows at about 78.4K on a candle closing basis, then we could be looking for a potential new bullish divergence to start forming. And of course, I am just giving examples here, but if we now make a lower low in the Bitcoin price and a higher low in the RSI momentum indicator, well, this is what we call a bullish divergence, and this typically points towards a break from all of this bearish price action that we have been seeing here recently on the daily time frame. So that is potentially something to be looking out for here if we continue trading to the downside on a candle closing basis. So I'm not talking about a wick here. Now, coming to the 4-hour time frame, since yesterday we saw a strong bounce from this golden pocket, but then fell back down below it. And that was when the gig was really up, because then we saw this very, very sharp drop to the downside. In fact, in this 4-hour candle, we dropped about 5% to the downside. So some massive moves on the lower time frames here. Something to take note of, though, is that yes, we are currently in a downtrend on the RSI, but at the same time, we are now potentially about to dip into oversold territory, which typically points towards there being limited room to the downside. Now, yes, there is still some room on this 4-hour time frame. However, as you can see on every other time frame here, for example, the 2-hour time frame, deep oversold territory, the 1-hour time frame, deep oversold territory as well. So therefore, it would not be surprising to me if in the short term here, guys, we are just going to see either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a short-term bounce to the upside. I'm not talking about some kind of massive move here, but I'm just saying a short-term move to the upside in order to fully reset the RSI to around this 50 level. Or if this strong downtrend continues, and you will have to draw some trend lines for this to confirm if we are likely going to get a full reset, or if it will be one of those short-term resets that just reset a little bit and then they come back down into oversold territory once again. For example, you could be drawing some trend lines here in the short term. I think it makes more sense to do it on even lower time frames, perhaps even this 30-minute time frame, to see like this, for example, it breaks above, then likely it's going to reset further up just a little bit more, and then you have another trend line here to see if it gets a rejection from there, or if it actually breaks through on this lower time frame. Then likely on the 1-hour and 2-hour time frames, you are going to see a full reset of this RSI over the next 24 hours or so. Now, of course, nothing I say in my videos is financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Either way, with these RSIs on the much lower time frames being in deep oversold territory already, I do think it is quite likely that we are going to get the candle close on the weekly time frame above that critical 78 to 79K level of support on that ascending trend line that I started the video with. Next, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps. First of all, on this 3-day time frame, as you can see, with this massive dump to the downside, we took out more liquidity to the downside once again. leaving this massive amount of liquidity sitting at 85K in the Bitcoin price. But for now, guys, understand that this is still in a downtrend, so nothing has really fundamentally changed since yesterday. For example, yesterday I was talking about this downtrend here. We did get a retest of that trend line, but we simply got rejected from the trend line there. And same on the 1 hour time frame. I was talking about, well, potentially if we make a higher high compared to this high right here, see a higher low come in, then likely I would be expecting further upside from there, taking out that 85K pocket of liquidity. But as you can see, guys, we did not even get the higher high in the first place. In fact, we saw a rejection from that level of resistance, and this pointed towards more downside, which we then also got. Today, I would say the same thing. This is in a very, very steep downtrend at the moment. You cannot really draw a proper trend line on this 1 hour time frame because the crash was so severe, but maybe you will get some kind of look like this, and then you can start to draw proper trend lines with 3 touch points. So it is a little bit early to be doing that, but I'll talk about it tomorrow. Either way, if a trend line like that gets broken, then you can start looking at this liquidity to the upside. But for now, the downtrend must first be broken before you are looking at that liquidity to the upside. 2-week time frame took out that big liquidity at 81K. And there is still liquidity at 85 as well as 89,000. Not much has changed there since yesterday, apart from taking out that liquidity to the downside. And if we take a look at the 1 year time frame, we have now taken out that big level of liquidity at 81K. We talked about this quite a bit on the channel on the 1 year time frame. Like I said a couple of times, I thought this was very likely going to get taken out. We have now taken it out, and there is more liquidity to the downside as well. For example, at 76.6K, but even as low as 75,000 in the Bitcoin price. Considering that we are currently still in a downtrend, I am targeting this 76.6K level of liquidity next here on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Lastly, guys, before I close off the video today, make sure you are inside the Discord community. I have left a link to this in the video description of the video you're watching right now. Especially as we are heading into this new week of trading, it is really nice to be able to chat in real time with other people that are also currently trading the crypto markets. So if that is something you're interested in, I've left a link to that in the video description, and it is of course completely free to join. But regardless, if you do end up checking it out or not, thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.